The morning of December 1st, 1948, dawned like any other on Somerton Beach in Adelaide, Australia. Beachgoers strolled along the sand, children played by the water. But that peaceful scene was soon shattered. A man's body lay slumped against the seawall. He was well dressed, but something was wrong. His death seemed anything but natural. Police arrived to investigate. The man carried no identification. His pockets held only a few ordinary items: cigarettes, matches, a bus ticket. He was a mystery, an enigma. Who was this man, and how did he die? The body was taken to a local morgue. A pathologist examined the remains. The man was in peak physical condition. He had no obvious injuries. There were no signs of struggle. The cause of death was baffling. The mystery deepened. News of the Somerton Man, as he became known, spread quickly. People were captivated by the unknown. Who was this man with no name? What brought him to Somerton Beach? The mystery haunted Adelaide and the world. It still does today.
Weeks turned into months. The days dragged on, each one filled with more questions than answers. The case of the Somerton Man was becoming a haunting enigma, a puzzle with pieces that refused to fit together. The Somerton Man remained unidentified. His face, though etched into the memories of those who saw it, offered no clues. Who was he? Where did he come from? The questions loomed large, casting a shadow over the investigation. The police investigation hit dead end after dead end. Leads that seemed promising would evaporate into thin air. Witnesses recalled seeing nothing unusual. Then a breakthrough, a glimmer of hope in the form of a seemingly ordinary object. A suitcase believed to belong to the Somerton Man was found at the Adelaide railway station. Hope surged. Could this be the key to unlocking his identity? The suitcase was a silent witness, holding secrets that had yet to be revealed. Maybe this would provide the missing link. Investigators approached the suitcase with a mix of anticipation and trepidation. What they found inside would only deepen the mystery. Inside the suitcase, investigators found clothing, toiletries, and other personal items. Each item was meticulously examined, catalogued, and scrutinized. They hoped to find something, anything, that would point them in the right direction. But there was one peculiar detail, something that stood out amidst the ordinary. It was a detail that would raise more questions than it answered. All the labels on the clothing had been removed. It was as if someone had gone to great lengths to ensure that the Somerton Man's identity remained a secret. This deliberate act of erasure was both chilling and perplexing. It was as if someone wanted to erase the Somerton Man's identity, to wipe away any trace of who he was. The investigators were left to wonder who would go to such lengths and why. Among the belongings, a small piece of paper was discovered tucked into a hidden pocket. It was a discovery that would send shockwaves through the investigation. Printed on it were the words "Tamam Shud," two words that would become synonymous with the mystery of the Somerton Man. These words, investigators soon learned, were Persian for "it is finished." The phrase carried a sense of finality, a chilling conclusion to an unknown story. The scrap of paper, it turned out, had been torn from a rare copy of the Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam, a book of Persian poetry. This revelation added a layer of literary intrigue to the case. The discovery of the Tamam Shud note sent chills down the spines of investigators. It was a clue, but one that opened up a myriad of new questions. What was the significance of this book? Why had the Somerton Man carried this particular piece of paper? It suggested a premeditation, a deliberate act. The presence of the note hinted at a carefully planned scenario. But what was the plan? And who was behind it? Was this a suicide note? The phrase, "it is finished," could imply a final act, a farewell. But the lack of any other identifying information left this theory hanging in the balance. Or was the Somerton Man murdered? The removal of labels, the hidden note, the mysterious circumstances all pointed to a more sinister possibility. The investigators were now faced with the daunting task of unraveling a potential crime. The mystery had just taken a sinister turn. The discovery of the suitcase and the Tamam Shud note had added layers of complexity to an already baffling case. The Somerton Man's story was far from over, and the search for answers had only just begun.
The Tamam Shud note wasn't the only clue hinting at something more. The small, rolled-up piece of paper found in the hidden pocket of the Somerton Man's trousers was just the beginning of a series of perplexing discoveries. The Somerton Man's death occurred during the early years of the Cold War, a time when the world was gripped by fear and suspicion. Tensions between the Soviet Union and the West were running high. Espionage was rampant, with spies and counter-spies operating in the shadows, gathering intelligence and spreading disinformation. Could the Somerton Man be a spy caught in a web of international intrigue? His mysterious death and the cryptic clues left behind certainly suggest a deeper story. Adding fuel to the fire was the discovery of a secret code in the back of the Rubaiyat. This book of Persian poetry, found in a car near the crime scene, contained a series of letters that defied easy explanation. Someone, possibly the Somerton Man, had scribbled a series of seemingly random letters and numbers on the book's back pages. These letters, arranged in a peculiar pattern, hinted at a hidden message. Could this be a coded message, vital to national security? The possibility was tantalizing, especially given the geopolitical climate of the time. Code breakers were brought in to crack the cipher. These experts, skilled in the art of decryption, pored over the letters and numbers, hoping to unlock the secrets they held. They worked tirelessly, analyzing the letters and numbers, searching for patterns. Each new theory was tested and retested, but the code remained stubbornly opaque. But the code remained unbroken. Despite their best efforts, the meaning of the letters and numbers eluded them, adding another layer of mystery to the case. The Somerton Man's secrets, if he had any, went with him to the grave. His identity, his purpose, and the meaning of the cryptic message all remained shrouded in mystery. The possibility of espionage was tantalizing. The idea that the Somerton Man was involved in covert operations, perhaps even a double agent, offered a compelling narrative. It offered a world of intrigue, of secret agents and double lives. The Cold War was a time of paranoia and suspicion, where the line between friend and foe was often blurred. Was the Somerton Man a pawn in a larger game, a victim of Cold War paranoia? His death, and the circumstances surrounding it, certainly fit the profile of a spy thriller. The theory, while compelling, remained just that, a theory. Without concrete evidence, the true story of the Somerton Man remains one of the most enduring mysteries of the Cold War era. His enigmatic death continues to captivate and intrigue, a puzzle that may never be fully solved.
The Rubaiyat of Omar Khayyam itself became a focal point of the investigation. This collection of quatrains, written by the Persian poet Omar Khayyam in the 11th century, has long been celebrated for its profound reflections on life, death, and the passage of time. The book's themes seem to resonate deeply with the enigma surrounding the Somerton Man, whose mysterious death has puzzled investigators for decades. This collection of Persian poetry, known for its themes of life, death, and the fleeting nature of time, seem to resonate with the mystery surrounding the Somerton Man. The verses of the Rubaiyat often ponder the transient nature of existence, the inevitability of death, and the search for meaning in a seemingly indifferent universe. These themes, so eloquently expressed by Khayyam, seem to mirror the circumstances of the Somerton Man's demise. Was his death a statement, a reflection of the Rubaiyat's melancholic verses? Some have speculated that the Somerton Man's choice to carry this particular book was no coincidence. Could it be that he identified with the existential musings of Khayyam, finding in them a reflection of his own inner turmoil and contemplation of mortality? Some experts suggested that the Somerton Man might have been drawn to the Rubaiyat because of its philosophical musings. The book's contemplative nature, its exploration of the human condition, might have offered him a sense of solace or understanding. Perhaps in the face of his own impending death, he found comfort in the timeless wisdom of Khayyam's verses. Perhaps he found solace in its words, a sense of peace in the face of his own mortality. The Rubaiyat's verses, with their meditative quality, might have provided him with a way to come to terms with his fate. In this interpretation, the book was not merely a clue to a crime, but a window into the man's soul, a testament to his inner life and struggles. The book, in this interpretation, was not a clue to a crime, but a window into the man's soul. It offered a glimpse into his thoughts, his fears, and his hopes. The well-worn pages of the Rubaiyat suggested that he had turned to its verses time and again, seeking meaning and comfort in its timeless wisdom. Others, however, believed that the Rubaiyat held a more concrete connection to the Somerton man's death. They argued that the book was not just a source of philosophical reflection, but a key piece of evidence in the case. The presence of the Rubaiyat, with its cryptic verses and hidden depths, suggested that there might be more to the story than met the eye. They pointed to specific verses within the book, verses that seemed to echo the circumstances of his demise. These verses, with their haunting reflections on mortality and fate, seemed to offer clues to the mystery of the Somerton man's death. Was there a hidden message within the Rubaiyat, a code that could unlock the secrets of his final moments? Was the Somerton man trying to send a message, even in death? The idea that he might have used the Rubaiyat to communicate something significant added another layer of intrigue to the case. The book, with its enigmatic verses, became a symbol of the entire investigation, a puzzle within a puzzle that investigators were determined to solve. The Rubaiyat, with its cryptic verses and hidden depths, became a symbol of the entire case. It represented the complexity and mystery of the Somerton man's life and death, a literary enigma that mirrored the larger puzzle investigators were trying to piece together. It was a puzzle within a puzzle, a literary enigma reflecting the larger mystery of the Somerton man's life and death. The Rubaiyat, with its timeless wisdom and haunting reflections, offered both clues and questions, a testament to the enduring mystery of the Somerton man.